What is up, you YouTubers? It's HarpyHunter89 and the voices in my head coming at you from the Duelist Den. And for today's video, we have a Duel Links deck profile for you guys. Now, this is the first Duel Links video I'm doing for the channel. I do plan on having more Duel Links videos coming up for you guys. Don't worry, I am still going to be doing my regular videos as well. I've just decided to expand the channel to include Duel Links as well. Now, before we get any further into this video, though, I do want to remind everyone out there to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell, and follow me on all of the social media accounts, which are linked down in the description box below, so you can stay up to date with everything going on here at the Duelist Den. Now, as far as this deck is concerned, this is, of course, a 6 Samurai deck. I use it with Joey Wheeler and his skill, Fields of the Warriors, which allows me to start the duel with the field spell Sogen out on the field, which works really great as all the 6 samurais are warrior types, and the field spell Sogen increases their attack by 200 points. Now, this deck has gotten me all the way up to Platinum Rank 3 so far, and I do hope that it continues to push me through the ranked duels and all the way straight to the top as far as I can go. So let's go ahead and get started with the cards I use. First off, I use 2 copies of the 6 Samurai Cayman. This card allows me to, once per turn, as long as I control another face-up 6 Samurai, destroy a face-up spell or trap card on the field. This is really useful as a lot of the skills for the characters in this game allow you to start the game with a field spell, sorry, I got a little tongue-tied there, out on the field. So having a way to get that field spell off the field is very handy. It also works real great if your opponent has a monster equipped with Metamorph, which is a pretty much staple card in the ranked duel section of this game. Next up is the 6 Samurai Yachi. Now, Yachi is very similar to Cayman. The only difference is whereas Cayman allows you to destroy a face-up spell or trap card, Yachi allows you to destroy a face-down spell or trap card on the field. Now, this is real handy because in Duel Links, battle traps or traps that you use during the battle phase to either lower your opponent's attack points or stop your opponent from attacking are a very big thing. They are staples in pretty much every deck. So having a way to destroy those cards before your opponent even has a chance to use them is very handy. Next up, I run 3 copies of Hand of the 6 Samurai. This is the only monster that I run 3 copies of in this deck, and I'm sure you understand why. The effect is that if you control another face-up 6 Samurai, you attribute a 6 Samurai to target one monster on the field and destroy that target. This allows you to get over monsters that you can't attack over by just destroying them outright. Yes, you do have to sacrifice a 6 Samurai, but if you use this effect against the right monster, then it opens up your opponent's field to allow you to attack directly, or it can just get rid of your opponent's strongest monster so that they can't use it against you. Next up, I run 2 copies of the 6 Samurai Zanji. This card, as long as I have another face-up 6 Samurai on the field, at the end of the damage step of this card attacked, I can destroy the monster that this card attacked. Now, this is very similar to Hand of the 6 Samurai's ability. Granted, if I attack my opponent's monster, I will take a little bit of damage, but that monster will automatically be destroyed, so I have another way to get around my opponent's biggest monsters. The final 6 Samurai that I run in the deck is 6 Samurai Iru. This card states that at the start of the damage step, if this card attacked a face-down defense position monster, that monster is automatically destroyed. Now, there are a lot of people who like to run decks that use flip effects or decks that, have monsters whose effect activates when they're destroyed by battle. 6 Samurai Iru allows me to get around those effects by using a card effect to destroy them or destroying them before they're even flipped face up. Like with Zanji, I have to control another face-up 6 Samurai monster in order to use this effect. Next up, I run 2 copies of Sheen's Daredevil. When Sheen's Daredevil is normal summon, I can place a Bushido counter on it. It gains 300 attack while it has a Bushido counter on it, and once per turn, I can target another face-up card on the field that I can place a Bushido counter on, remove the counter from this card, and put it on that target. Now, this comes in real handy, especially if I have Temple of the Six or Sheen's Dojo out on the field, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. The final monster in the deck is 2 copies of Great Shogun Sheen. If I have 2 or more face-up 6 Sams on the field, I can special summon this card from my hand. This prevents my opponent from using more than one spell or trap card each turn, so it pretty much limits their options as far as what they're going to use and when. And if this card will be destroyed, I can sacrifice a face-up 6 Samurai I control instead. So it has built-in protection and a lockdown ability that's real hard for my opponents to get around. Now moving on to the spells and traps. This is where the Bushido counters come in. I run 3 copies of Sheen's Dojo. What Sheen's Dojo does is every time a 6 Samurai is summoned to the field, it gets a Bushido counter. Then, once I have enough Bushido counters, I send this card to the graveyard to special summon a 6 Samurai or Sheen effect monster from my main deck whose level is less than or equal to the number of counters that were on this card. So as long as I can open with this card, it's real easy to get enough counters on this to bring out pretty much any monster in my deck. Furthermore, Sheen's Daredevil allows me to further push this card by allowing me to place a Bushido counter from itself onto this card. Next up, I run 2 copies of Temple of the Six. This card states that every time a 6 Samurai is summoned to the field, it gets a Bushido counter on it, and monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack for each Bushido counter on this card. Now, that is a very, very big thing, although it may not seem like it. Because the more 6 Samurais that you summon to the field, the more Bushido counters this card gets, and the weaker your opponent's monsters become. Next up, I run 3 copies of Legendary Ebon Steed. This card not only gives the 6 Samurai it's equipped to a 200 attack and defense boost, but it also allows it to prevent the destruction of that 6 Samurai by destroying this card instead. For the final card I run in the deck, I run 3 copies of 6 Strike Thunder Blast. This card allows me to remove a Bushido counter from my side of the field, and with a total of 7 cards in the deck that I can put Bushido counters on, I will almost always be able to use this. By removing a Bushido counter, I can target one monster my opponent controls and destroy it, or target one card my opponent controls and return it to the hand. So I have the option of using one of these effects, and it really all depends on the situation. If my opponent has back row that I don't want them to use against me, I can bounce the back row to their hand, or if they have a monster I can't get around, I can just flat out destroy the monster with Thunder Blast. For those of you who play Duel Links, you may be wondering why I don't run any battle traps or any enemy controllers, which are staples in pretty much every deck. It's not because I don't have them, it's because I don't need them for this deck. So far, this deck has served me well the way it's built, and I don't really need to change it so far. If I ever run into the situations where, I find myself needing those cards more than not needing them, then yeah, I'll probably put them in here. But for right now, this deck has served me extremely well, and like I said, it's done extremely well. It's gotten me all the way up to Platinum Rank 3 so far, and I do plan for it to keep pushing me through the ranks. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. But until next time, this is Harpy Hunter 89 and the voices in my head. Just wanted to say Yu-Gi-Oh is not just a game. Yu-Gi-Oh is life.